Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of our brand new Elddis signature CV20. So as we start the walk round on the outside of the vehicle, driver's side first, the first point you get to is your auto gas filling point. So within the CV range, they all come with 25 litre underslung gas tanks on. So it means that it's far easier and far cheaper to find LPG if you are in this country or if you went abroad than finding a bottle. So this is the filling point. It's a bayonet fitting. So it's got two prongs on either side. So what you do is go to your local LPG centre, pick up the LPG filling nozzle, push that in, twist it so it clips onto the bayonet fitting the opposite way, and then pull the trigger back and then press the button on the display panel on the pump until simply it won't take any more. And something like this will take about £25 to fill your LPG tank up. Underneath you've got your grey wastewater outlet, so this is anything that you've put down a plug hole, goes into a separate holding tank, and then you simply open it and allow that out. Normally on the way out of your site you would go over the wastewater disposal point and open this tap. The blue one is just the fresh water outlet, so if you put on too much water and you're not using it for a while and you want to drain it down, or you want to drain it down in the winter, or you've took on contaminated water, you can simply open that up and allow the water out. In the winter it's very important that you open both of these taps so that the water doesn't freeze in the tanks and cause any damage, because it's not covered under warranty. Cassette toilet, so that opens with the main ignition, that opens with the habitation key, and then to get the cassette out you need to make sure that the blade's in the closed position, which I'll talk more about when we're inside the vehicle, because the blade's on the bottom of the toilet. Lift and slide via the orange handle. Take it out of the vehicle. You can either carry it or you can drag it to the waste disposal point. And then to empty, what you need to do is you need to take the grey cap off, press the orange button at the back, tip it out. Once you've tipped the cassette out, put some water in. There's normally a tap beside the waste disposal point. Put a tap in, put some water in via the tap, give it a shake, tip out again, and then fill your cap with 120 ml of chemical, either the green or the blue, and pop it into here, and it's good to go back into the van. Check with your sites what chemical they prefer you to use, because some of them now want to use the green instead of the blue just for their disposal of your waste. Coming further back, you've got your fresh water intake. So lifting the wheel flap, pop your flat end of the hose pipe into here, just between the grooves there, wedge it in, and then fill it until it overflows, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see from your main control panel. But you'll need to carry a hose pipe with some hose pipe fittings, as it's mainly just a brass tap on most sites. So you'll need a screw on end and the hose lock end. You can either buy yourself a normal hose or a collapsible hose, but you'll need the flat end to go into the side of the vehicle. Underneath this wheel flap, you've got a external 230 volt mains power socket. So if you wanted power on the outside of the vehicle, you can put an extension in here, wedge it underneath the van so it goes onto the right side, the awning side, or if you want to power something this side, you've got a plug there. Mains connection point, so this is how to hook the vehicle up if you're on site or you're charging it at home. So you'd get your hooker bleed, lift the collar, expose the terminals, slide it over, and always hook the vehicle first and then the site, so that you're never walking around with a live lead, and do it in reverse order when unhooking. And if you're charging it before you go away, what you want to do is you want to hook the vehicle up a few days before you go away, 2 or 3 days, and leave it on hook up to make sure that your leisure batteries take most of the charge in, so that if you were going wild camping, your leisure batteries are fully charged. On the back of the vehicle you've got your high level brake light, and underneath there on the surround you do have your reverse camera. Press the buttons on the door and you can get the doors to 90 degrees, but just watch if you've got a bike rack on, because that's then not possible. But if you've got a lovely bit of scenery, you can sit in your lounge and park over and get a good view out the back. Got storage under here, underneath this large bench seat on the passenger side. A few bits and pieces that side which I'll show you when we're inside the vehicle. And then always make sure you shut the passenger side door first before you bring the driver's side door in. On the driver's side of the vehicle you've got your awning. We'll get your awning out and we'll show you that in the next clip. You do have your electric step which will retract when the ignition is put on. You've got the switch here for the step to bring the step in and out on the kitchen, followed by your fly screen. And these are just from the manufacturer, so just to keep it shut, but it'll stay shut on its own, so you don't really need them. Passenger door, you do have your fuel filler, so that opens with the main ignition key for the vehicle, which you can, it's a lockable cap, so main ignition key here, open the fuel and fill with diesel. And then because it's a new diesel compliant engine, it's got Adblue. So the Adblue system is designed to spray the catalytic converter at a certain temperature to reduce the carbon buildup in the exhaust system. So the Adblue system is a 19-litre tank. It'll tell you when it needs the Adblue, and you can see now on the new styled Series 8, which this is, how much Adblue you've got in the tank, so you can view a level. 19 litres full capacity. It'll do 5,500 mile on a full tank, but at 4,000 mile or 4.5 you'll get a warning just to say it's low. Then you want to think about topping it up, so as soon as the light comes on and the next 20 mile or so you want to be topping the Adblue up. So you either want to buy it in the drum containers and it'll take 2, or you can buy it on the pump, which you can get from most petrol stations now, as it's a common thing on all wagons and new diesel engines that they are now Adblue compliant. So top it up as soon as the light comes on. Don't run it dry, because if you run it dry you can break the pumps and then it's a new system and it can be very expensive and not covered under warranty. So do top that up. Tyre pressures on here, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi for front and back tyres. Underneath the passenger seat is the location of your toolkit. So this just pulls off, and then you would just loosen the twist lock off to pull the toolkit out, and that will include a jackknip brace and a torn eye. Engine battery is underneath the floor on the Ducatos, so you just lift off the screws on the end, the turnbuckles, to lift this panel out, and you can access the battery from the top to put a charger on, or to take the battery out in years to come when you need to replace the engine battery. And then the bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard. So if we have a quick look underneath the bonnet, so coming to your left hand side, underneath the driver's side, you've got your screen wash, which is the main one you're going to need when using the vehicle, because you'll go through a lot of screen wash in the summer with the flies. 3 tabs on here, lifts this cover off and you can access your coolant filling cap. Brake fluid, oil filler. There's no dipstick because it's all remote from the dash, so it's all digital, and there's no brake fluid and there's no power steering fluid even, that's what I'm meaning to say, because it's an electrical system now. So you do have your screen wash, your coolant, your brake fluid, your engine oil filler, and then you do have an earth for giving or receiving a jump start, this one here, as the battery's underneath the cab floor. And then between the air intake, so you've got your air filter there, and your headlight, use the key or something flat end screwdriver, put it in here and lift this up. That's the positive terminal for giving or receiving a jump start. And then you have your unique chassis number, unique build number, 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight, 5.5 ton if you were to put a tow bar on and tow with the vehicle. You can't exceed 5.5 ton, and you've got your front and back axle weights. And then you do have your paint code. So as this is our new colour, we used to be Azure Blue, we are now Lanzarote Grey because they've discontinued the colour. That's the paint code for the Lanzarote Grey. To operate the Dometic awnings on the CV range, get your winding handle, pop it in at the front, wind the awning out. You want to wind it out until you reach inside of the inner canopy, which is here. So keep going to about there. And then to get your legs out, push here, fold it down, lift the plastic tab up and pull the plastic tab out. So push the leg up, you want that to come out. Like so, adjust the telescopic height to suit. Put both legs down, so we'll do it again. Push it in, fold the leg out, lift it. So you want to lift it up, push it out, adjust the telescopic height, push that down, which locks the leg in place. Then what you want to do is wind and walk the awning out until you're happy. Peg the feet. If you want in a driveway kit, you've got a C-rail on the front here, so you can adjust a driveway air blown awning on there. But make sure that when you leave the vehicle unattended, you go into bed, the awning always comes in, because you can damage the awning or damage the vehicle. And to fold your leg, like so, just put them back away. Bring the awnings in and don't use them in wind speeds over 15 miles an hour, because you will cause damage to your vehicle, someone else's, or your awning, and they're very expensive to replace. And then if the winding handle is stuck, push it in and turn it without bringing the awning out, and then that is your Dometic awning. Once inside the vehicle, this is the Elddis 12 volt control panel. So you've got your master switch in the top left, which will turn the vehicle on or off. If you're hooked up, it'll turn off and on the 230 volt. If you're not hooked up, it'll just turn on the 12 volt off your leisure battery. So make sure that you do have enough charge in that battery. Next to it you have your pump. So making sure that you've got enough water on, you can turn your pump on. And that'll pressurise your taps, toilet and shower. If you don't have that on, you'll just get whatever's left in the lines and it'll just fade out. Master switch for your lights, which is this one here. And then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. And then you've got your awning light, which is the one on the bottom right, which is the light on the outside of the van. Leisure battery reading, which is this one here. Take the hook out to get a true reading of the battery, and then you do have your fresh water reading there. So we've probably got about 30 litres of water in there. It shows there. Entrance light on the main control panel. Sorted. Gas level indicator, which is only on the CV range as they're fitted with a 25 litre underslung tank. So you just turn it on, it's showing green, means it's full. Once it shows red, it's time to refill your 25 litre gas tank by visiting your LPG station and filling it up. To operate the Thetford 12 volt compressor fridge, turn on and off here by just pressing and holding. So that's off. That's on. You can go up and down for the temperature, 5 being the coolest. So if you are pre-chilling the van before you put the, or pre-chilling the fridge even before you put the shopping in, put it on full. Once you pop your shopping in, drop it down. So just press and hold, drop it down, just so it doesn't freeze your fridge. And then you do have nighttime mode, which is this blue moon here, which you can turn. On, and it'll lower the decibels of the fridge so it's not as loud for when you're sleeping. When not using the vehicle, just leave the fridge door ajar by putting the blue clip into the middle of the hinge, just to stop the smells from forming in the fridge, because the air will be trapped if you do shut that door. Freezer box, 2 drawers, and then 2 bins on your door for your bottles. In the kitchen area, you've got 2 gas rings, which are both lit there. So once you've had any of the gas rings on, so you've got 2 gas and 1 electric, you've got to be hooked up to mains power for this to work. Allow all the hobs to cool down so that they're cool enough to touch before you put the hob top down, otherwise there is a chance that you could shatter it. And then below, you've got your grill. Top tip, just hold it in a little bit longer till the thermocouple gets warm before releasing, and then it'll stay lit. And then below that, you've got your oven. You may want to take your oven shelf and grill pan out when travelling, or wrap them up, as they can cause a little bit of noise when on the road. Storage drawer underneath the oven. Storage here. Storage drawers, so you've got 4 drawers down the side, remembering to press the catch in to close the door before you travel, with another 230 volt socket here, light switch, plate rack, plug for the microwave should you ever need to isolate it, and this is an 800 watt Russell Hobbs main power microwave, so again be hooked up for that to work. Right underneath the oven, you do have your whale boiler. So it is a underslung boiler, but it's very important that in the winter, when we're suffering from colder weather, that the vehicle is drained down, because you wouldn't want the water to freeze in the boiler overnight with the water being in, unless you've got it in use and you're using it. So if you're not using it and it's parked in the storage yard or parked in the drive, and you've got no intentions of using it for either 5 days, a couple of months, drain the water off, because if not, it's not covered under warranty, because it's the user's responsibility to drain the water off. And to drain it off, what you'd do is you'd come in, no power, no pump, this is your drain down tap, point that to the driver's side of the vehicle, leave it open in this position, open all the taps throughout the vehicle, so kitchen, hand basin, removing the shower head from the shower hose and laying that down in the shower tray so just no water coils up in that pipe, opening the fresh and the waste from outside, drain it all off. When you come to use it, close the fresh and the waste outside, close the boiler, put it back into this position, close all the taps, fill the vehicle via the hose pipe with fresh water. Come in, put the control panel on, put the pump on and go at the cold side of the tap first. You'll get an automatic pressure of cold water coming through the tap because it's drawn it from the freshwater tank underneath the van via the pump straight up to the tap. When you slowly move it to the hot side, you'll notice it starts coughing and spluttering and the water doesn't come through as easy as on the cold. And what that's doing is it's just purging the system of water into the boiler. So it's pressurizing the boiler basically. So it's drawing it from the underslung tank underneath the van 10 litres into this boiler before it then comes out the boiler to the hot tap. So do that on one tap. Once you get a free flow of water from the tap, it's good to go. It's prime for the season. Try all the others, and then basically you only need to drain it down in the winter. In the summer you can leave the water in it as much as you want because we don't get colder weather. But remember, drain it down because if not it's a costly mistake to make and it's not covered under warranty. So now in the washroom, which is a combined toilet shower cubicle, you've got your shower head that comes out of your sink, and then you can clip it up there and have a shower, and there's a curtain that goes on the track, or you can just use it as your hand basin tap by sliding the pipe back behind as long as the pump's on, you'll be able to get a pressurized flow of water, and that is your warm water heating up there. And the plug just pushes in and out. So that's red hot water there. So that means your water system's working fine. Press the travel catches in behind the cupboard. Then you've got some toiletry cabinets. This is a special sponge to wipe out the plastic lining shower tray. If you're going to use any chemicals, don't use anything too harsh, and use a microfiber to wipe down after. So use something like a spray instead of a bleach, just to spray and clean your toilet area. Nothing too harsh because it'll discolour the white to yellow. Top rate the toilet, make sure the pump's on. You can press your blue button, which is your flush. So always flush the toilet first and put a little bit of water in because it keeps the seal between the toilet and the blade, which is the top of the cassette, lubricated. So a little bit of water in first, then you want to open the blade. The blade handle is this grey handle. So pull it towards you. You can now see it's open. You can get your hands into the cassette. Use the toilet with the blade open, flush after use, and then slide back to the left. It doesn't take any pink liquid, it is just drawn from the freshwater tank. So if you've got any pink, what I would do is get an empty spray bottle, dilute it, spray the bowl, flush, and then close the blade. It'll do the same job. It'll clean the bowl, it'll give a fragrant smell in the washroom. And then when the cassette is full, you'll get a light underneath the diagram of the cassette. Toilet roll holder, toothbrush holder, and then some shelves either side. Blackout blind on the fly screen, skylights around, and then open it. You can open it both together. You can tilt one side, you can pull one side in and keep one side up. It all depends on which way the wind's blowing, so you can always have it open for ventilation. And then you've got two towel holders on the towel rail just there, and then a vent for the heater so you can have it on or off. But these come in handy if you've been out walking the dogs and you've got wet coats. Hang them in there, put the heating on, shut the door, smallest place in the van, they'll dry out in no time. So underneath the long bench seat on the driver's side of the vehicle, at the back is the location of your leisure battery. So you've got your main fuse in here, lift the top off, and you've got access to your leisure battery. So it's a Varta leisure battery that is supplied from the factory, which is a 95 amp hour leisure battery. So it comes with one as standard. You can get another one added at additional cost from us, but you would lose some space in here for an extra battery. You've got your water pump, so that'll kick in and out once the tap's open, once the pump is turned on the panel. And then at the front you do have your consumer unit, so all your trips on mains power. And if you're struggling and you don't think you are receiving mains power, one, check your microwave. If that's lit up, you've got power. If not, you can come and press here, trip the vehicle out. If you trip the vehicle out and it trips, you are receiving power. If it doesn't trip, then it's not the vehicle, it's the site or your house end. All your 12 volt fuses, so do carry some spare fuses with you. And they are 5, 10, 15 and 20 amp fuses, 25 amps, so you can get a mixture online or from likes of Halfords, Euro Car Parts. And then you've got a switch on the bottom. As this is our signature, it's fitted with tank heaters, so if it's going to freeze overnight, pop them on and it'll stop the water from freezing in the under carriage tanks that are bolted to the chassis by putting heat through the water to stop that from happening. But you don't need them on in the summer, more so in the winter. To create the back bed, either on the CV20 you can use it just 2 single beds as they're long enough, or if you want it into 1 double, what you've got to do is lift and slide the slats into the middle, like so, and then use the backrest. So you get rid of these, they're just on press studs, you don't need them, so pop them down into the front. And then you'd use your backrests. They are on press studs, so just pull the press studs off, wedge that in. It is designed to be a tight fit so that nothing moves. And then at the back you've got a full double bed across the width of the vehicle, but you still have these little bits. They don't make a bed because there's nothing that pulls in, but they're handy enough to put your books, iPads, things like that on and use them as side tables. Behind the washroom, in the cupboard, you've got 2 USBs for charging your iPads, your phones, and then you do have your Teleco TV aerial. So it's a fixed aerial, but you've got a booster on here, so you can boost it and weaken it depending on the strength of the signal you're receiving. If it's on full and it's pixelated, you may just want to turn it down, or if it's on nothing, you may just want to turn it up so you get the perfect picture on your TV. TV bracket here, so you'd lift that off, put your screws through there, and that'll slide back on to house your telly. But we always recommend taking your TVs off when travelling, and always getting a 12 volt telly. If you're putting a mains telly on, it depends how you're going to use it. So if you're always going to a site, then that's fine, but if you're going to do wild camping, 12 volt tellies are far better, such as your Avtex telly, which was designed to take the knocks and things, so you can leave that on. 12 volt TV point, 230 volt socket. All your little reading lights are individually switched, and you've got 4 of them in the back lounge. So in the cab, which is based on a Series 8 Fiat Ducato, which is the latest model out onto the market on the Ducato, you've got your handbrake down between the driver's seat and the door on the right of the driver. And then you've got driver and passenger electric windows, followed by electric mirror adjustment. So you've got 2 mirrors you can adjust on each side, the bottom one being the blind spot, the big one being your main mirror, so you can adjust that electronically via joystick on the front of the driver's door card. Headlight adjustment, rear fog lights, and then you can turn off your stop start if you don't want it on. but that'll only work should the battery have sufficient charge in it. Wipers, so you can push up for one wipe, and then you've got to adjust this for the end of the stalk for your frequency of the wipers. So up once for one wipe, end of the stalk for constant wiping of the windscreen when it's raining. Indicators and lights, and obviously a high beam flash. Automatic lights, just leave them on automatic. They'll come on with the sensor when it detects it's dark, which is up here. Cruise control, turning it on and off here, and then you can set it once you get your desired speed up and down. You can cancel it here, or cancel it with a foot brake and resume it to the last speed set, or you can go to your limiter, which is your, so it'll say speed limiter ready, and then you can go up and down and set the limiter, so when you accelerate it'll only go to that, but if you push the accelerator flat to the floor, it'll override the speed limiter, as it's a safety feature in case you were getting cut up or you were trying to avoid a collision. You can go through your instrument cluster, so it tells you your range, and then if you go right, it tells you your distance travelled. Go right again, tells you your average speed. Distance travelled, trip B. Average speed, trip B. So you've got two trip computers, or you've got a digital speedometer. Oil level, oil temperature, oil life, battery voltage, Adblue level, 100% of Adblue on board, service, no alert, so it's not telling you to top Adblue up, it's not telling you that your engine oil's low, it's not telling you that any doors are open. Vehicle setup, and then you've got your speedometer again. Fuel's on the bottom here of the speedo, and temperature is on the bottom of the rev count. You've got two buttons behind the steering wheel on both sides. So you've got this one here which does your skip, so it scrolls through your audio, your radio stations, your media, and then you've got your volume this side. On there, 6-speed manual gearbox with lifter collar into reverse. Obviously red shows the back bumper, middle shows where a tow bar would be if there was a tow bar fitted, and the swing of the vehicle, and then you've got orange and red which shows the distance. Obviously we do offer the CV range in automatic as well, but as standard they do come as a 6-speed manual. Traction control on and off, locks the doors including the back doors as it's a van conversion, on and off for the head unit and the volume, and your heated mirrors, and then your fog lights, and then your hazard lights, sorry, on there. .12V, so you've got two, you've got a standard, and then you've got the new 12. You've got a standard USB, and then you've got the new USB-C, and then the 12V. Lockable glove box with a standard USB at the back for the head unit. So these just charge devices, that does the head unit, which I'll get onto in a moment. On the outside ring, on the left hand side, you've got your temperature. Inside you've got your fan speed, must be on 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this button here. Outside ring on the right, you've got your distribution, so whether it goes to face, feet or screen. And then you do have whether you're bringing fresh air in or you're circulating air within the motorhome. Head unit, so it's the new Fiat head unit from Fiat themselves. So home, you can go on, you can click and you can go on to DAB, and you can search for your DAB stations, which goes 1 to 6, or you can go to 10, 15, so you can go to 15 really, so you can save 15 of your favourite tracks there. Or you can go to FM if you're not getting a good enough DAB station. But you can browse all and you can scroll through them to find the station that you want, and then you press and hold to save that station. All presets, obviously 15 of them, you can save whatever one number you want to your favourite station. So that's the radio, which is quite straightforward. Phone, no phone connected. Would you like to pair phone? You want to press yes, and then you want to go on your phone, you go into your settings and go into your Bluetooth. Scroll down and you want to find Uconnect. You want to pair with it. Press yes on here, press yes on there. The pins are matching. Pairing in process. Ask you if you want to allow your contacts to be saved, just press allow. Whoever rings you'll come up with a name if they're saved instead of just a number. As my phone's Apple, it's Apple Carplay, so it's wireless. You don't need to plug it in. You can put your phone in your pocket. As soon as you get in the vehicle, it goes on to Apple Carplay. So here you can see it uses Apple Maps. You've got your music in the bottom corner. You can click onto your phone, click onto your music, you can click onto your maps, so you can use the iPhone maps and on the vehicle. So it then includes a sat nav. You've got your messages, you've got Uconnect, so it goes back to the standard software of the radio, so you can change the radio station if you want the radio on instead of your music on Apple Music, Spotify. We've got your settings, so if you go back there, you can then go into the bottom one, which is the vehicle. You can select all the vehicle settings in here and go back to home. But it is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well, wirelessly. Glove box. The top box, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning. And then to pull this up, a lot of people struggle with this. Hand in the middle. Don't be afraid. Give it a good pull. Clip on the side, opens the jaws. You can then pop your phone in, lock it into place. That's not going anywhere. It's locked in for your phone or a sat nav. And then finally, to black the cab out, it is fitted with Remus cab blinds. So pinch the door blinds and slide down. That's for the driver and passenger door. Pinch. Meet in the middle. Magnetic strip, that's the windscreen blacked out, and you do exactly the same for the passenger door. And as you can see there, that is your cab all blacked out for on an evening, or if you're leaving the vehicle parked up, you may want to shut the blinds.